Good morning. I am the real underscore G Warner on Twitter. Going to go through this English week, midweek soccer matches in Europe. We've got no Champions League, but we're filling that in with Premier League, one La Liga match. Also, Serie A and Ligue 1 seem to be full, I guess, because they have Christmas breaks or something like that. And going to do this as quickly as possible because I should be working. So, going to start in England on Tuesday. We have Newcastle hosting Norwich. Currently, Newcastle a half a goal favorite at home. And I don't really see why Newcastle deserves to lay that to anybody. Bottom of the table, have not won yet this season. They have a lot of fanfare because they had a new buyer come in with a lot of issues with Saudi Arabia, but we'll leave that to the side. Having to win by or just win this match when they haven't done it yet all season is a big ask. Certainly, they're playing the weakest team in the competition, but Norwich have been playing better lately. Added Dean Smith in the midst of playing better, and I think 7 points from their last 3 matches is pretty impressive to me. All the juice is currently on the Norwich side, but I think at a half of a goal where a draw on the road wins a full bet. I think that is going to make my card today. Joy. Next on the list is Leeds hosting Crystal Palace, currently giving a quarter of a goal, all the juice on the Crystal Palace side. It makes sense to me that all the juice is on Crystal Palace. They've been playing a lot better. Leeds have really not had any goals to speak of. Their players, the NBC Sports crew, thinks that they look tired, which is surprising because they were supposed to be a team built on fitness and being more fit than their opponent. I think they're just really struggling to score goals, and it makes everything else look worse, which as a favorite is a big problem when you have to win a match. I don't know where this line's going to go before kickoff this afternoon, but I would assume that Crystal Palace money is probably going to be coming in. So I think I'm going to do some scouring of some injury reports and see what I can find on Crystal Palace because they are an underdog I want to back as well. Moving to Wednesday, we have Southampton hosting Leicester, currently giving a quarter of a goal at home, which is saying something for Leicester. All the juice is on the Leicester side, so I imagine this is another one that might fall to pick them. Southampton's offense, though, has been pretty good at scoring one goal, and then they sit back and try to hold on to that for dear life. That's a tough scenario against Leicester with Jamie Vardy scoring a ton of goals. They did play Watford this weekend, though, so I'm not really sure what to take from that because they're one of the worst teams in the Premier League that, at least since I've been watching it. Southampton on the other side, having to win a match is I'm not even sure they take a lead. So I'm interested in the underdog on the road. Leicester certainly have their own flaws and have not looked very good in any of the competitions they've really been in this season. Thanks a lot due to injuries, but they still have a pretty strong team compared to Southampton with a budget that should be a lot different without looking at transfer market right in my front of me. But Leicester are interesting to me on the road, even on a short week. Watford then hosting Chelsea, currently getting a goal and a half at home. Chelsea are so good. Watford are going to ship goals in this matchup, even against a weakened Chelsea team due to injury. I think I'm just not looking to back Watford unless they're in a dream scenario, and this is certainly not one. I'd rather be asleep. West Ham then hosting Brighton, currently giving half of a goal. It's a lot for West Ham to lay, considering their offense. They're a defensive side that are going to make it tough on Brighton to score, which is always tough for Brighton to score anyway. I think all the juice is on the Brighton side, so maybe this falls to a quarter, but I'm not sure that keeps me away from a Brighton lean, as I expect them to try to control as much of the game as possible, either through possession or through their defense. And I think as an underdog, that's where you want to back Brighton. As a favorite, you really want to go against them. So they're a team that I like in that type of makeup. West Ham, Mikel Antonio hasn't seemed to be firing like he has in the past. And coming off a Man City match where they had to sit in and defend, and they really played as much defenders as they could. I'm not sure what type of mind frame that puts them in on a short week where they likely are looking to take 3 points and are going to have to really fight and scrap for it. And I'm not sure this is a possible game that ends goalless. Wolves then hosting Burnley, giving half of a goal. Burnley with their match postponed due to snow on the weekend. Crazy to me that happened. But anyway, Wolves, their offense is not very good. It's still really hard to trust. Defense has been better. Burnley are going to probably try to give or cede a lot of possession to Wolves and try to get long balls or counterattacks. to try to beat them. I think Wolves' offense laying half of a goal is always something I want to look about going against. Burnley have been playing pretty well, and with extra rest, should be more than fired up for this matchup. And I lean them for sure. Aston Villa then hosting Man City, getting a goal and a half at home. All the juice in Aston Villa. Maybe this falls to a goal and a quarter, but I feel like Man City money always hits. I think from a Villa point of view, they've been playing or got two good victories under Steven Gerrard, but I'm not really sure that they're sustainable or really were deserved. City are going to have a ton of possession. They're going to really test an Aston Villa defense that has underperformed this season, at least compared to last. And City are going to make it really, really hard for Aston Villa to have any sort of shots, and I don't really expect Villa to score. 1-0 certainly gets you done and wins here for a Villa play at home. Crowd will be nuts, I'm sure, because it's probably a really hot ticket. But I got to say, trying to figure out reasons not to make plays. And I think that going against City after a really fortunate victory on the weekend with a late goal off the post from Lanzini, maybe should have been deserved, maybe shouldn't have. I think Man City are pretty comfortable to win this matchup. And once that first goal goes in, Villa will have to push for an equalizer, and that's not a good scenario. Everton then hosting Liverpool, getting a goal and a quarter at home. Everton's offense has been my offense. We've scored about the same amount, it feels like, over the past few weeks or month. Liverpool are scoring a ton. I don't know that Liverpool, even in a big derby match, I'm not sure that Liverpool are a team that I want to fade, even catching more than a goal at home. Tottenham then hosting Brentford, giving 3/4 of the goal with most of the juice on Tottenham. Maybe this climbs to 1. I think any time going against Tottenham, laying a full goal is something that I'm interested in. So we'll see what happens. Brentford played pretty good defense against Everton, and their offense barely showed, but showed enough. I think Tottenham with Harry Kane and Sonny looking like they're aged or not really into it or whatever. I think a Conte style is going to shore up the defense, but that's not really what's necessary against Brentford. I think you really need to have an offense, and I don't think that Tottenham do. So getting a full goal will be of interest to me. Manchester United then hosting Arsenal in the last one of the week. United giving a half of a goal, all the juice on the Arsenal side. I think you got to lean Arsenal based on who they are, how they've been playing versus Manchester United going in the direction that they are. But Arsenal playing the kids, I think it works against the younger teams or the inferior teams in the league. I'm not sure that it does against a team like United with the payroll that they have. I don't know if Rangnick is going to be in charge. I love the yawns are back. I'm not sure if Rangnick's going to be in charge of this one, but I'm interested to see kind of what he brings and how he kind of tries to change things. Arsenal have interested me at getting a half of a goal, but if this falls to a quarter, it might be an easy one to skip. Going to go through La Liga because there's only one match to talk about in midweek, and that is Real Madrid hosting Athletic Club. Real Madrid giving a goal and a quarter, most of the juice on the Athletic Club. Athletic Club are a team I really like to back against the good ones in this one, especially getting more than a goal because they are a team that wants to defend and counter. They've been in the favorite role recently, and that's not been working for them. But I think maybe add some value to them in backing them against a juggernaut like Real Madrid, who are a team that are great at scoring goals and seem to take a lot of the few chances they create, as they're really an older team that just don't have a lot of talent based on finances or limitations to their budget. Athletic Club, though, have not been playing very well, and so you have to figure out if that's something that will continue here or if this is the scenario that they can kind of come back. Iñaki Williams not starting on Friday was a big surprise to me, and I think big surprise to the marketplace, who had really backed Athletic Club pretty seriously. I don't know what his story is. I imagine that he's going to start for this one, and maybe they're saving him for this match, which I don't know if it was a great idea because it didn't work out for them, but ultimately against Granada last weekend. But I got to say, I'm always interested in Athletic Club and their speed, trying to run at an old back line for Real Madrid that is not as impressive as it has been in the past, for sure. Moving to Serie A, which has a full boat of matches. Starting on Tuesday, we have Atalanta hosting Venezia. Currently, Atalanta a goal and 3/4 favorite. It's a huge number that I'm not sure they deserve. Venezia with a ridiculous penalty late that was kind of brutal, in my opinion. that cost them a cover after covering for 95 of 95 minutes, basically, or whatever that number was. I think getting a goal in 3 quarters from Atalanta is a lot. And Venezia have been playing really good defense. I'm not sure their offense is much to speak of. And Atalanta last year would ship goals against this team, but they haven't been able to do it this year. And I just don't really see it with Atalanta so far. So Venezia goal in 3 quarters is very interesting. Fiorentina then hosting Sampdoria, giving 3 quarters of a goal. All the juice in Fiorentina might be climbing to 1. That's a big number for Fiorentina to lay with their offense. But it's really a commentary on how Sampdoria are playing, how bad they are really, or how limited they are offensively and how aged they are as a side. Not sure that I want to back them really at all. Just really want to go against them as a favorite. And that's certainly not the case today. Salernitana then hosting Juve, getting a goal in a quarter. Juve with a really tough season so far. I don't think they're that far from turning it around. I think they've shown that they can play defense under Allegri, but that's not a great sign against Salernitana, though, who are probably the worst team in this league, them or Venezia. So this is a match that Juve should be winning on the road, favored by more than a goal. I do believe that if they take that 1-0 lead, they don't push for that hard for a second goal because they really want to defend. At least that's what Allegri has shown against the better sides. Maybe they don't do that against Salernitana. I do fear that second goal is way more likely for Juve to come than a Salernitana first. So you really need Salernitana to either jump on a lead or make it take a really, really long time for Juve to score, which is possible, but I'm not sure it's probable, nor that I want to waste any money betting on that. Verona then hosting Cagliari in the last match for Tuesday. Verona, 3-quarter goal favorite, most of the juice on their side. They've been playing really well. Had a tough loss last weekend, I think, to Sampdoria. But they're a team that I'm not looking to go against with a bad offense like Cagliari's. Bologna then hosting Roma, currently getting a quarter of a goal at home from Roma, who dealing with a ton of injuries. Pellegrini left early in the match last weekend against Torino. And they were already dealing with injuries ahead of time. Don't love Mourinho, and Bologna have an offense with Arnautovic playing. He's older, so you want to make sure he's in the lineup for this one. But I lean Bologna. I'm not sure that a quarter is enough for me to play as we speak. Inter giving 2 goals to Spezia. Inter, it's not that easy for them to score, but they seem to do it, and they do it late a lot of times, I think, because they're so deep compared to the teams that they're playing, and they can throw on really strong attacking talent late. That's probably a way to explain it. Spezia, they've been trying to play a more offensive game. Took a brutal loss on a late penalty in their last match, but I think against Bologna. But from where I sit with them, I don't know, because I think they want to play on their front foot, and that's not good against Inter. So even getting 2 goals of insurance, that's not something I really want to mess with, because this could be one of those blowouts that makes you think taking 2 looks good, and then you hate yourself very quickly. Genoa then hosting Milan, currently getting 3/4 of a goal with all the juice on Milan. Milan have shown that they're pretty weak once they go behind, and they leave their defense at risk a lot of times. Genoa aren't the offense to really do too much, but and certainly they go behind a lot. They're decent at equalizing, coming back from the dead, but I think as this climbs towards 1, I'm more and more interested in Genoa, but without that 1, I don't think I'm going to play it. It does look like it's going to trend there or get there eventually, maybe juiced, and then I'll be looking at it more in depth. Sassuolo then hosting Napoli, getting half of a goal at home. Napoli are a really good team that can score plenty of goals. Sassuolo with a pretty surprising upset over AC Milan, but I think some good fortune, double bounce, own goal certainly helped, but they held on. Credit them for that. I have issues with Sassuolo defensively, and I think Napoli are a team that can exploit that. So I'm not sure that a half a goal even at home is enough. Moving to Thursday, Torino hosting Empoli, giving 3/4 of a goal. Empoli have been pretty strong. I think they've been a stingy, newly promoted side that look like they can hang. Torino have looked really good this season under Juric. Have had a lot of the ball, have been good competition for the big clubs, but haven't really been showing much for that in the points department, which is disappointing because they've deserved a lot more. But I think Empoli getting 3/4 of a goal is interesting, because a 1-0 loss or 2-1 or whatever that would be only takes half of your stake. And I got to say that Torino haven't really been converting their good play into points. Lazio then hosting Udinese in the last match of Serie A's midweek play. Lazio giving 3/4 of the goal, and they have a good offense that can score goals. Udinese's defense has not been very good. Unfortunately, that's what they're built to do, and it hasn't been great. Offense, I think, has been better, but Lazio are a team that can certainly score goals, and I don't want to get in a race with Lazio on the scoreboard, and that worries me about Udinese. And I think until I get +1, I'm not sure that I'm taking it, and it doesn't look like it's going to get there. All right, moving to Ligue 1. Last but not least, we're 15 minutes in. We have Angers hosting Monaco, getting 1/4 of a goal. Monaco's offense has been nothing to speak of this season. I know either one of the players or Kovac has said that they're playing against teams that sit in and defend, and they weren't used to that because they didn't have to deal with that last season. Well, they haven't figured it out this year, and there's no reason but to sit in and try to make them score against you because they really haven't been able to do it all season. Angers, they came back from the dead, came back from behind, whatever, and I think won their last match. They've been the darling surprise of Liga this season, and I'm really impressed by them. Getting 1/4 at home from a team that can't score is going to be really hard for me to pass on, so probably will make my card. Mets hosting Montpellier, pick them with more juice on the Mets side, which is a big surprise. They've been, I think, overperforming their results or situations with red cards and falling behind and somehow equalizing with 10 men or equalizing from behind. They seem to be doing it a lot, and credit them for that because they're devoid of talent compared to the rest of the league. I hope that they close a favorite here because I'll be backing Montpellier, who I think have been playing okay, but have been struggling to score, which is a problem for them because their defense isn't great, and they traded away or sold a lot of their offensive talent towards the end of the window. I think as an underdog, though, from a really poor Mets team, they will be on my card. Currently not the case at Pick'em right now. Strasbourg then hosting Bordeaux, giving 3/4 of a goal. It's a big number for Strasbourg to give. Their defense has really not been that impressive to me this season, and they've been taking a lot of really dumb penalties or red cards, or like Jiku has been killing me this season. Bordeaux as a favorite last weekend, tough spot for them, but they are a side that I think play up to their competition, have been competitive despite being a big club from the past that are falling on tough times financially. I think getting more than a half is interesting to me, so I'll be looking at this one much more intently towards the kickoff on Wednesday afternoon here in the U.S. Brest then hosted Saint Etienne, giving half of a goal off a really good performance last weekend, but that's doesn't really make sense. I mean, all the juices on Saint Etienne's side, but that's a big number for Brest to offer because they're ultimately a defensive side that don't really control the ball and don't make a ton of chances. So when you start giving more than 1/4 based off a really good performance, that makes me question it. And Saint Etienne have been playing better, fighting their way from the bottom. Got some wins recently, and I think that they're fairly equal, if not a better side, getting half of a goal on the road. It's hard for me to resist in the French league. Troyes then hosting Lorient, giving 1/4 of a goal. Lorient were a team that I really liked, and I liked their style of play, but defensively they were having a lot of issues. Troyes' offense is nothing to speak of, and so anytime Troyes is a favorite, I'm looking the other way. Clermont currently pick them to Lens at home. Lens with all the juice and might climb to 1/4 of a goal favorite. And that's of interest to me on the Clermont side as a home dog because the market has loved them this season. I expect them to love them even more today, and that's certainly not the case with this number. I do think that if this one stays pick'em, I will likely not want to go against Lens, as I think I really like their manager, how they've played this season. But at the same time, as a road favorite, they've not been playing well of late, and that interests me a little bit more. And Clermont Foot are going to try to be on the front foot. Nantes then hosting Marseille. Nantes currently getting 1/4 of a goal at home. Marseille haven't looked like the same team over the past month. Had a great start to the year, really kind of struggled when they had to balance Europa League. As a road favorite, I'm not at all interested in them, of course, but Nantes are of interest to me on the road, at home. As a road favorite, Marseille, I think, are a team that I want to look to be against, and we'll see what that all looks like at 1/4. I'm not sure if that's enough for me, but ultimately a home dog is a home dog. Lyon then hosted Reims, giving a goal and 1/4 with all the juice on the Reims side. Lyon have been scoring a ton of goals and have been crushing me at times this year because they can score, and that's what they do. Their defense has been an issue. Reims, I think, offensively are better than they have been in the past, but We're going to have to see where this number finally sits. I think above a goal is always of interest to me going against Lyon. I'm not sure that it's been very profitable, but ultimately, I think Rems play great defense, have more offensive attacking talent than people expect, and that's of interest for sure. PSG then hosting Nice, giving a goal in a quarter. Neymar out 6 to 8 weeks. That definitely affects their lineups, but not as much as you'd expect because they need more balance to their defense and allows them to start Di Maria most likely or some sort of form or fashion that will add a little bit more of a defensive tracking back to PSG. Nice with Gaultier, who I've spoken really highly of him so far, of course, but I really like who he is as a manager. The defense he brings, that he clearly was a big part of Lille's success last season. Not that was ever denied, but they're not the same team without him. Nice are a lot better with him and have the young attackers that I think are going to be really good. Maybe not this season, but probably next and in the future. PSG giving more than a goal with their lackluster motivations and things like that are very interesting to me. And I got to say, Nice and Gaultier getting more than a goal is always something I'm going to look at, even against a PSG side that are really strong, but haven't really looked that good despite being way ahead in the Liga table. Last but not least, Rennes hosting Lille. Speaking of the devil, Rennes are a quarter goal favorite, climbing with all the juice looking like climbing to a half of a goal, which does make me then want to be interested in Lille, who are a Champions League team that have played better sides, but Rennes have played really well, and it's really hard to look away from that as they've been great. And ultimately, I think Lille at getting a quarter are not enough now. Maybe getting a half will be of interest, but we'll see if it gets there and where the number end up falling as lineups come out. Because Lille aren't the same team, aren't the same defense. Jonathan David, it seems like if he scores, that's when they win. Rennes have been great as a team. Don't have a really lot of stars, I don't think, but they're together a big team that are really hard to play against. And I'm not sure that I really want to be against a team that's playing really well and you can't figure out how to really quiet their attack because they have so many options. That'll do it for this midweek English week action of betting the pitch. Thank you for joining. I'm the real_G Warner. Hit me on Twitter if you got any questions. We'll be doing some college basketball later today, most likely. Also check out that podcast, etc. The real G Warner on Twitter, the real_G Warner on Twitter. Don't forget it. Hit me. Thanks.